What's up everybody, this is Chris. Welcome to another English learning video, and today we're going to be practicing some expressions and some phrases related to the weather in English, taking you beyond some of the simple phrases that you might know, and we're also going to be practicing your pronunciation at the same time. Alright, it's going to be a great lesson. Let's get into it. So you probably know the simple phrases for weather like rain, but you might not know that these can be used in different forms. For example, rain, the adjective of this is rainy. Rainy. It's a very rainy day today. In London, actually, today is a rainy day. So what do we say when it's raining? We say it's raining. We don't say there is raining or there is rain. We say it's raining. You might already know that in phrases related to the weather in English, we often use it's. It's raining, for example. We don't say it's rain. We use the present ing form of the verb. It's raining. I don't know if you know the word shower. No, I'm not talking about the shower in your house. I'm talking about a rain shower. So a rain shower or a light shower is a small amount of rain or rain that falls for maybe a short length of time. It's not what we would call heavy rain. So in London, there are a lot of showers, which means that it will often rain for a short time. So if the weather's like that, we can say it's a shower or there's a shower outside. So watch the pronunciation of this shower. Shower. If it's pouring with rain, if it's raining very hard, we can say it's raining cats and dogs. Have you heard this phrase before? I think a lot of people who learn English will learn the phrase, it's raining cats and dogs, which is actually nothing to do with cats and dogs. Really, it just means that it's raining very hard. It's pouring with rain, or it's torrential rain. So why do we say cats and dogs? Well, I'm not exactly sure of the reason, but I hear that in the past, roofs were made of straw. So when it rained, the animals would often walk across the roofs, but they might slip and fall in through the roof. So apparently that's why we say it's raining cats and dogs. If it's raining very hard, you can also say it's teeming it down. Teeming means pouring with rain, raining very hard. Teeming, or it's teeming down. Down, of course, because the rain falls down through the sky. If you're talking about heavy rain, we can also say it's pouring with rain. It's pouring. You might know there's a kid's nursery rhyme. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man is snoring. So this means very, very hard rain or very heavy rain. If there's a lot of wind as well and rain at the same time, we could call this a storm. So we could say there's a storm or it's stormy. It's stormy outside. So we can also use this with weather. We can say the weather is stormy or it's stormy weather. Next one is a rainbow. So the last time I saw a rainbow was probably last year. I haven't seen one for a long, long time. But sometimes when it's raining and you see the sun through the rain, you can see a rainbow. What do we say when it's very cold? You probably know the word cold already, but when it's very cold, what do we say? We say it's freezing. It's freezing. So freezing literally means that the water has changed into ice. Okay, it's below 0 degrees. But sometimes when we use this word, it's not actually that cold. We just mean it to say it's very cold, not necessarily icy. So if it's a cold day today, you can say it's freezing. All right, the next one is a very British phrase. You probably wouldn't hear this in other countries. We can say it's a bit nippy. A bit nippy. What does that mean? It means that it's a little bit cold. However, you may know that a lot of people in the UK like to understate things. So even if it's absolutely freezing outside, sometimes we would just say it's a bit nippy, a little bit cold. But actually it's freezing cold. I can barely feel my hands. I'm absolutely frozen stiff, but I still say it's a bit nippy. You can say it's Baltic. So Baltic refers to the countries around the Baltic Sea, right? Like Estonia and Latvia and Lithuania. So a lot of people from the UK think that these places are very cold. So some people might say it's Baltic or it's Baltic outside. This is a slang phrase meaning really cold. Other than the rain, we have a lot of other things that might fall from the sky. We have hail and snow. So if you want to say it's hailing, you can use this as a verb. It's hailing or it's hailing down. This is a bit like it's raining, but hail is little pieces of ice that are falling from the sky. It's snowing. So snowing we can also use as a verb, saying it's snowing right now. So sometimes when you wake up in the morning and the grass has this white layer on top of it, this beautiful layer of frost. So this is what we call frost. So we can also use this as an adjective. We can say it's frosty or it's a frosty day. It's very frosty out there today. So now it's getting into the spring. We don't have so much frost now, but in the winter, this can be very common. If there's a snowstorm or a lot of snow falling from the sky, we can call this a blizzard. A blizzard means a snowstorm with high winds as well. The winds are blowing very hard outside, maybe more than 35 miles an hour. This is pronounced blizzard. A blizzard. Sometimes when we're talking about the weather, we like to talk about a cold front or a warm front. So a front means the weather, the air coming into where you live from another area. So this is called a cold front. It's the edge of an area of cold weather. And you might hear this a lot in weather forecasts or weather reports. So if you're watching the TV, if you're watching a weather report, they might say a cold front is approaching. That means that an area of cold weather is moving towards your country. Another word that you might hear other than cloudy, because a lot of people know how to say cloudy, but you can also say overcast. So this is quite an advanced word. What does it mean? It means that there is a thick layer of cloud that's blocking out the sun. It means basically there's clouds all over the sky. It's overcast. So you could say it's a very overcast day today, or the weather is very overcast. Just means it's gray and clouds everywhere. Of course, in the winter, we can also get fog, which is this thick layer. It's like mist, but it's much thicker. If you're driving on the road, you need to be careful because the fog might mean that you can't see where you're going. And that's something you need to watch out for. Of course, we can't forget thunder and lightning. A storm could be accompanied by thunder and lightning. So do you ever get scared if you see lightning in the sky? In the UK, we don't really get such strong storms and lightning as you do in some parts of the world, but sometimes you will see them. Next, we have to look at wind. So obviously we can say it's windy, but another word you might want to know is a gale. A gale means very strong winds. So you could say it's blowing a gale, or there's a gale outside. And in some parts of the world, you might get tropical storms, such as hurricanes or cyclones. If you're in North America or you're somewhere in the Caribbean, you might get a hurricane. But if you're in the South Pacific or the Indian Ocean, you might get a cyclone. Or if you're in other parts of the Pacific Ocean, like around China or South China, you might get typhoons. So these storms change names depending on where you are in the world. If the weather's good, you can say it's sunny or the sun is shining. The sun is shining brightly today. The weather is very good. Talking about the heat, you could say it's warm, it's hot, or it's roasting. So what does roast mean? Literally, it means cook. You might roast meat in your oven or on a barbecue, but it can also mean the weather is very hot. So you could say it's roasting out today. That means it's really hot. Roast, incidentally, also has another meaning, which means to make fun of somebody. Sometimes in the middle of the summer, when it gets very hot for a long period of time, we will have a heat wave. A heat wave. This means that it's very hot for a long period. Sometimes we will have to turn off the taps during the day or stop using water in the garden because it will be too hot. We have a heat wave sometimes in the summer. Then we have humid. What does humid mean? That means that it feels very sticky and wet everywhere. For example, in tropical areas. Humidity means that there is water in the air. So we could say it's very humid. So sometimes in the summer, when the air is thick with water, we say it's hot and humid. These two would often go together. If there hasn't been any rain for a long time, perhaps there's been a heat wave, we might have a drought. Drought. So what does this mean? It means there's a lack of water and a lack of rain. The plants are not growing and we need to try to get emergency water as soon as possible. If you're watching the weather forecast, you might see them talking about degrees. So that's the little round sign next to the number, and you'll hear it on the weather forecast. In the UK, you might hear degrees Celsius, and all over Europe. Most of the world uses Celsius. You probably have a similar word in your language, but in the US, they use Fahrenheit. This is a German word, but in English, it's pronounced Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. If you wanted to say the temperature is 30, you could say it's 30 degrees outside. Or if you wanted to say it in full, you could say it's 30 degrees Celsius or 30 degrees centigrade outside. Okay, so that's all our weather words and weather expressions for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any questions about weather or words and expressions in English, do feel free to leave me a comment. Also, if you haven't done so already, click the link in the description, sign up with your email address. You'll get all of my latest updates and my videos sent out to you. It's absolutely free, and you can also take my free pronunciation mini course to help to improve your pronunciation in English as well. All right, so that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you again next time.